Like 8 minutes till start. 2-1. Hey.
Hey,
welcome to a very dismal Sydney Harbour for another day's racing of the 18-footers. And we'll bring the weather to you shortly, but it's grey, it's raining, and there's not very much wind for two scheduled races of the races 4 and 5 of the Spring Championship. On behalf of Sale Media, I'm Peter Shipway, along with Andrew Buckland and James Bury. We'll be bringing these races to you, but we're very doubtful whether we'll get two races in today, let alone one. So we've seen in the first 2 days of racing, the previous 2 Sundays, some very exciting skiff sailing after a long break due to the COVID problems, and the racing has been very close. Some new teams, some new boats, some new sponsors. But today it's going to be a very different day. So in saying that, I'll introduce Andrew Buckland. Andrew, the weather. There's a lot to talk about.
Well, it's sort of warm and damp, isn't it, Pete? It's a bit tropical. So unusual situation for Sydney for this time of year, a little bit sort of monsoonal trough type, not quite monsoonal trough, but a big trough extending from here 2,000 miles to the north and west. So, and a bit of cold air mixed in with that, giving us what we have in Sydney today with a quite surprising air temperature in the low 20s, so not cold, but just a bit of pretty shallow nor'easter blowing earlier, and now troughy southwesterly flow with cold air making it rain. So a bit unusual. The committee's going to try, and they've got a course access in, 2 laps, wind west-southwest at the present time, not exceeding 6 knots. A little bit of more rain coming over the CBD, but anything could happen, but we would be optimistic we'll get one race in. And I think a big factor today, though, will be pretty big ebb tide. So the tide running parallel with the wind, more or less, on the racetrack, and probably running at about 1.5 knots presently. So let's see what happens. But the committee's determined to start, irregardless, almost, in sort of traditional 18-footer fashion. And with a bit of luck, Jimmy, we'll get a race or two.
Maybe.
Well, you can see the couple of the skiffs just coming out of Double Bay with very little wind, with the committee boat, the start boat, to the north of Point Piper or to the west of Shark Island, for those that know Sydney Harbour, and it looks at the moment with this breeze that they'll beat up towards Clark Island. Remembering it's a 2-buoy system up at the top, 3-buoy system at the top. The boats, the scratch markers, or the better boats, they will go to the furthest mark, and then the other boats will go to alternate marks, which makes it a bit interesting. It changes the positions quite rapidly as they approach the weather mark, and depending which mark they go to. But at the moment, we're just hopeful of getting one race in, let alone two. But bring Jimmy Bury in now. Jimmy, we've seen some, as I said earlier, some great racing, but today's going to be a lot different.
G'day, Pete. Yeah, spectacular racing previous 2 weeks. This week, unfortunately, not going to be the flying 18s as they're known, but I guess it's really going to be a test on people's patience, how well the forward ends can fall asleep on the foredeck. Probably you'll find the sheet ends jammed into the spinnaker bag and just be the skipper half out on a wire if you're lucky. It's a bit of a downturn from the previous 2 weeks, that's for sure. But still, we've got a boat race, hopefully. Just in saying that, looking at the start boat, the flags have gone completely limp on the start boat. So we'll, fingers crossed, we've got about 10 minutes or thereabouts to a start. So.
Yeah, well, this is scheduled to be races 4 and 5 of the Spring Championship, and while we're waiting here, we might just talk about the races so far and the point score. After 3 races, we've got Balmain Slake, the clear leaders. They've had a very good day on the first day, new sponsor, 2 wins, and then the 7th last week. They lead from Rag and Famish Hotel. Balmain Slake are on 9 points, Rag and Famish are on 14. The Oak Double Bay 4 points, 17. Yandu 17. Fisher Paykel 21, Noakes Blue 23, Tech 2 23, Lazarus Capital Partners 24, and so on and so on. So over this series, you cannot drop your worst performance, as normally happens in big championship events, but this is pays for consistency. But at the moment, the boys in Balmain Slake are doing a pretty nice job. But today is going to be very tricky for all crews. Now, Andrew, there's a few skippers changes today. There's a few boats not out there. Bring us up to date on what we know about the crew changes.
Well, as per last week, Noakes Sailing not attending with Ed Poweries and Josh Probesky not in the country, crewing for Sean Langman. Lazarus Capital Partners casualty in the rigging park with a damaged diagonal stay fitting, not starting. So Cam Gunny's going to step across and steer Ilvy with Nick Daly and John Walton. Elsewhere in the fleet, on Balmain Slate, Dan Barnett on our main sheet. So it's a famous name.
Very famous.
His dad, Cub.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Cub.
Happy birthday, Cub.
Gilman winner. And where else, Pete, do we need to go?
We've got Tom Anderson stepping in onto the skippering Shaw and Partners.
That's correct. Tom
Yeah.
Anderson on the stick of Shaw and Partners.
And the JJ Gilton champion, Michael Coxon on Smeg. He had an accident, didn't he, Jimmy? And broke his toe.
Broke his toe. I seen him during the week in a boot, and I said, did you sail last week? He goes, yeah, I tried to. He goes, but like on the nets, it doesn't matter if you're in boots or not, your toe just seems to get in the wrong spot. So Mika, he was promised it was going to be a 14-knot nor'easter by Coco. That's why Mika signed up. So Mika Lanes jumped in, and Coco's sitting somewhere having a giggle at it.
Well, he's no slouch either, so be interesting to see how the Smeg and Tech 2 go. They're the two scratch markers, so they're going to the furthest mark. But, wow, looking now, Andrew, there is not much wind.
No, we've got a bit of evaporation. Oh, Pete, and we forgot to mention Harry Bethwaite in the front of Noakes Blue with Yvette Heritage and Tommy Cloud on the main sheet. On the mighty Finport, Brian Ewings, son of the very famous Dave Ewings, on the main sheet. Keegan York and Phil Marshall. So quite a few changes, but early days in the season. And though to be fair, Pete, I thought, the standard last week was good. The cobwebs seem to be getting blown out pretty well. People have realised that time marches on and improvement has to be continuous. Otherwise, come the Gilton, you are struggling.
Well, we saw last week a very impressive performance by John Winning in the new skiff Yandu. He had the race in the bag but forgot to tie the knot at the top, and it got away from him on the last run to the finish when he got sunk by some powerboat wake. And Tech 2 sailed consistently and came through and won the race, but Yandu had a very impressive day up till then.
And Pete, a very impressive grab by Tech 2.
Absolutely.
In the last 100 metres, Jack McCartney, Luke Parkinson and Louis Brake just executed the last half a mile perfectly. And
well, remember, like Finport, let him go. It was crazy.
Well, there's today's sponsor, the Burrawang Hotel, Young Henry's. In screen there, Simon Nern, Rory Cox and Ethan Hosking. They're the race sponsor for today, a new sponsor for the class. And I know the boys are watching down at the Burrawang Hotel. Hope you're getting a bit of rain, but we're under postponement. Just as I speak, the postponement flag has gone up on the committee boat. The breeze has changed. It's gone a long way to the right, and where they've laid the weather marker, they'd lay through at this stage. The breeze has gone into the northwest here, Andrew, hasn't it?
Well,
north.
The map suggests that the gradient wind is northerly, right? And okay, it's edging down the coast as a nor'easter, but pretty difficult day for the committee. Wind direction previously, around that, when we came out, around that 235 sort of number, and now probably 340 or something. So fleet laying up to the windward mark, single tack on starboard at the present time. If we started the race now, the committee did say they would attempt to minimise the extent of any AP.
They also said, Bucko, that the breeze does swing. They're not going to change the course because they've got to try and move 3 marks. And
So we're on delay for races 4 and 5 of the Spring Championship. And They're remembering it's hopefully a 2-lap race where the boats will go to different marks at the weather mark. They've laid 3 different buoys up there, and the better boats are adjudged to go to the furthest mark, and the other boats will go to the middle or the closest mark. And you can just see the rain's lifted a little bit, looking away to the southwest. We had a couple of showers go through that were reasonably heavy a short time ago, but just a few spits of rain. And the boat's all going upwind with little or no pressure. Crew standing or sitting in. So it's a bit of a lottery day, Andrew, isn't it? You pick a puff and you could be smelling the roses for
it's a
period of time.
If they started this downrange stuff, it's a game of find the wind, and the difference between 5 knots and 8 knots of wind in these boats is like chalk and cheese. And join the dots together and not tack in the lull, Peter. I told you that last week, didn't I?
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I listened to you. I've been practicing all week on that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good. Good. But yeah, it's a bit of a tough waiting game here for everybody, committee included.
Yes, we're on postponement at the moment. All skiffs, of course, on their big rigs that need to be powered completely up. But, Andrew, while we're waiting, tell us about Lazarus Capital Partners, Marcus Ashley Jones, a new boat. What actually happened to them when they were rigging?
Well, the lower diagonal stays, which support the mast of the gooseneck, pretty significantly loaded. And it's just quite a complex little carbon fitting that's a separate laminate and bonded to the mast surface. And some problem with the bonding, and the fitting was about to depart, taking a bit of mast wall with it. But given one thing and another, they thought they should get it back to the shed and get some laminate applied and prevent damage to the mast wall. So that's what has happened to them. And, you know, if you... we've had the benefit now of seeing some of the brand new tubes as for Yandu, Yandu's new rig, and equally to new tubes coming perhaps for Ilvi, I believe. And, CTEC continues to develop those little features. And talking to Nick Daly, who organised the rig for John Winning's boat, he's confident that he can, and John's new rig is a pretty tricky, fancy-looking 2-spreader setup for the big rig, but, a very oblong-shaped tube below the hands and a round tube above the hands to get the gust response. But Nick is confident that he can make a single-spreader job, that it will be better than what he's given to or organised for John Winning's boat. So development continues, and in the class, there hasn't been a huge run of success with guys using single-spreader rigs because of the sort of complexity of balancing the stiffness, the tip stiffness and a bit of gust response. Quite a complex set of issues there to get right. But Nick's confident, and he thinks he's looking for 3 kilos weight reduction by that method. So not insignificant in terms of, the weight of these boats and where the centre of gravity is and how much pitching moment there is and all those other rig weight type issues. But a little bit uniquely, I suppose, carbon tubes that have got some gust response rather than a keelboat mast where you're
Totally stiff, yeah.
trying to get none, more or less.
Anyway, it's a development class, no doubt. They're always trying something to just get that little bit extra, and that's good to see. But
And 80% of those little trials fail, of course, but
Yeah.
the 20% that succeeds is what drives it along a bit. Now, shippers, your old eyes, what are the flags on the top of the harbour bridge? They're flapping, which is a good sign.
looks like they're pointing towards us, which would signify westerly. wouldn't
That's
it, up
right,
there,
exactly.
I think. Yeah.
Looks like 8 knots of westerly, but it's not down here
No,
yet.
it's sort of northwest here, and various stages of strength, probably maximum 4, 5 or 6, and then more like 2 or 3. But
Yeah, three to six would just about cover it, wouldn't it? But
Yep.
So here's a boat going.
The rag just ran into it on
Yeah, they
TV.
just,
But the breeze just went back to the northeast here.
yeah, well, this is a hard day for the starters, as you say, the race officials, to try and get a race away with this breeze really boxing the compass here. It's back in the northwest here. So the fleet are just milling around and not much to do or say, really, is there? There's a spectator, the spectator ferry's out with a few punters on board. Harbour is empty. A few intrepid
No power boats,
ferries
Pete?
out. No power boats at this stage, but that,
That's scared.
we've scared them off after last week, but they'll be back, no doubt about that. They'll be back. There's Vintech in the foreground, the Rag and Famish just running back with Spinnaker. You can just see how benign these conditions are. Very quiet. We look towards Bradley's Head.
And the Vintech is the next youth, I think you'll find this year.
That's right. Yes, she's tricks us all by having Vintech on the sail, but it is the Noakes youth boat.
Waiting for sail signs. Indeed.
So, Tom Cunnich, Flynn Sprott and Kirk Mitchell are the crew there. And the breeze looks to be getting lighter rather than stronger, Andrew.
Well, I told you to turn the knob to the right, mate. Come on.
Yes,
Just dial her up a bit.
I'm trying. Sky clearing in the west, southwest. What's that mean, Andrew? Anything? Nothing.
But it's clearing out there,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Is that
No
what it
rain.
means?
Probably means no rain.
Well,
Means it's a little bit sunnier over there than what it is here.
Yeah.
You'd kind of imagine that it's possible that the wind will re-exert itself from the north, you know, that the cold air is going to get lifted off. And
Come back to the northeast,
yeah,
perhaps.
Yeah, because the water's warmish. But, yeah. So Jimmy's just pointed to the water temperature on our little screen here. 19 inside the harbour and over 20 outside. So making a contribution to what's going on here. And Peter, at Coffs Harbour, 23. How's that?
Good, good. A lot of people are interested in that. Is that offshore or
No.
in the harbour?
In near the yacht club, mate.
Right, okay, good. Very important.
Beautiful little break on the northern side of the breakwater. On certain occasions. Anyway.
You can see the flags on the committee boat just coming into vision there, the Ripple side. They are certainly not streaming out to any breeze at all. They're just hanging very limply. And there's Lazarus development just glide past.
I think if we do get a race in today, Pete, I think we might see something from the Lazarus development team. Obviously going to the shorter marks.
Yep.
It's going to be a huge benefit on a day like today. Just go the right way, everything should fall into place for them, hopefully.
As I said earlier, they'd laid the weather marks up near Clark Island, but looking up there now, it's probably one of the quietest spots on the harbour, and the breeze has gone from southwest, perhaps back to the north, so it's just making it very, very difficult to get a race in at this stage. I think we're a long way away from starting, if indeed we get a race in. So it's hang around and wait.
Stand by to stand by.
Yeah. Difficult to get a race in at this stage. I think we're a long way away. We get a race. So, Andrew, what's on the agenda for you? So hang around and wait.
Stand by to stand by.
Hobart race bound.
One way or another, Pete. Not sure how yet, but there
Long
you
way
go.
away.
Been working on a two-handed boat with Adrian Dunphy, but we're struggling a little to meet the deadlines with surprisingly short supply of skilled labour. You know, and I guess it's fair to say that the Australian waterfront trades have relied, the competitive yachting trades have relied on importing Northern Hemisphere labour for the summer peak, and it obviously hasn't got here this year. And so every good carbon fibre man in Australia is busy, and all the sail lofts are busy, and delivery of stuff's difficult. So, but if we don't get that to the line, I've got a sort of a backup plan or two.
Right. Well, it's interesting you mentioned the two-handers. Out of the 110 entries for Hobart, 24 of them are two-handers. So
That's right.
it's gaining in popularity in Australia.
Imagine if the Kiwis could have come, there would have been probably 30 two-handers.
Well, it's massive overseas, especially in France, and Europe, the two-handed. It's certainly gaining traction here in Australia.
Yeah.
Did Rupert Henry's one do the Flinders race?
It did,
How
but
did they
it
go?
wasn't an official entry. So he wasn't listed on the results.
Right.
But he was certainly out there, and I watched them start yesterday, and they got outside their heads, and he put his big reaching sails up, and he was off in that new Class 40 boat. So it's going to be a pretty severe weapon, that boat, of Rupert's, Aora, the boat.
Did you have a good look at it, Pete? It's a serious piece of weaponry.
It is. It's a first-class bit of kit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was an old 18-foot skipper, David Griffith in Whisper, won the Flinders Island race yesterday with another Michael Coxon on board. So they had a very good win, beat Ichiban, who was in second spot.
And that's a good feather.
Any boat you beat time you beat Ichiban, you know you're doing pretty well.
And Lindsay Stead from Shore and Partners, the boat captain on the Whisper.
That's correct. That's correct.
And Lindsay's one of the aforesaid busy carbon engineers. Shipwright.
Well, we're just if you've just joined us, we haven't had much action. We haven't had any action. The fleet, you can see, are drifting around, waiting for the wind. It's coming from all directions. Southwest when the boats came out, now it's back in the north. There's been a bit of rain around, and we're just hanging around at the start off to the north of Point Piper. Trying to get a race underway, but very difficult for the starting officials to even put down a course, supposedly a 2-lapper. We're meant to have 2 races today, but at the moment, that's a hope that might be a bridge too far. There's Shark Island just coming into view with a couple of the skiffs just drifting around, really.
There's no sign, Pete, of any new wind exerting itself at the present time.
No.
Looking 360. The Norris are just trickling back down the harbour, though, at Watson's Bay. So, and it's the winds coexist. It's just the southwesterly flow gets lifted off by the northeasterly flow. The nor'easter flowing in underneath the southwester. But we need a bit of more energy in the system, shippers. Bring some.
I've always got energy.
Yeah,
Whether it's in the right direction or not, I don't know. But
counterproductive at the present. How's that?
well, painted ships upon a painted ocean there. Look at that.
Yeah. But still, I mean, the skiffs, 5 knots of wind.
Yeah, they're away.
They're off, and one of the attractions of 18-footer racing always has been that you can race in pretty much any amount of wind, meaningfully. Any amount of breeze, I'll say. Any amount of breeze.
I took the fishing rods off you. So we're out of luck for a fishing show if racing doesn't start. It was Yandu that just came through screen. Had really good boat speed last week, like miles out in front of him. When I was speaking to Mike Kennedy, Berger, he was saying they got on a wave, when they tacked, they got on this glamour wave and literally rode it all the way up the first work to the top mark. So that was good of them.
Well, they got their nose out in front. They just kept...
Then their nose went down.
Yeah, well, they kept on keeping on until they had the massive spin out just on their last run to the finish. But that was last week, and this week, well, who knows? It's a bit of breeze trickling in from Bradley's Head side of things, but far from strong, that's for sure.
What's going on behind us, Bucko? Anything?
Yeah,
Less than what's here.
northwest to north behind us. So, a bit of a strange situation, but sky is clearing to the west, which would probably indicate that it might go back to where it was. But
And on the fin port that was just on the screen, I noticed when they were sailing out, the young Brian is steering. Keegan's gone to the sheet.
oh, well, that'll be a good day out for the young fella.
There he is.
Anyway, the crew's having to remember how to sail these boats in light air. Typically, forward hand on the foredeck, trying to get the bow plane immersed.
So what do they do, Andrew, to power the rigs up?
Fully soft on the side stay tension. And they got good controllability of the side stays now with a small mechanical winches on each stay.
Except for working at Point Marina. No winches.
On most of the boats, Pete. And
We might be looking at something here.
We're seeing a bit
Blake's
of
out
action
the
on the committee boat. I think the AP is going to come down. Oh no, he's lowering the wrong flag. It's wrong. Oh,
50% job.
yeah, there's two.
it's 50-50
Oh.
bet.
It's got 3 seconds.
So the
got-
class flag's coming down.
Well, they've got to move the committee boat as well. That means, Pete.
Yeah,
Anchor's coming up.
We're on the move.
so there's a bit of action. The action from the committee boat, the Ripple side.
So I think you'll find that they're going to take the Ripple side down into Rose Bay, Pete, to just try and get an access up towards the harbour bridge.
The start line was laid and the leeward gate was laid. So, and then the three boys at the weather end, the weather mark has been laid. So they've got a lot of action. The boys lowering the rounding marks. They've got to get them all up and reset. So it'll be a fair time before we get a start underway. That's for sure.
Well, Pete, I think you'll find that they might just leave the windward marks where they are
And move the starting line around.
and move the start line. Because they can, they got enough time to move the bottom gate. That's not a big deal at all. But
There's Mika on the mighty Smeg.
We remember, doesn't like starting. Remember John Jason?
Mika Lane taking over from Michael Coxon. I presume for the next few weeks, Jimmy, would that be right? Or
Yeah, it was. I think he said probably 4 weeks, but Mika's got a strict rule. It's 12 knot, 14 knot max nor'easter, or else Cocko's got to get on the blower and find someone else. So
a rule to be set and broken in abundance, I would suggest.
a day like today, if you had your time over again with this sort of sniffing it out sort of breeze, you would have, for the Smeg, you would have called on Lee Napton to
I was going to say, yeah.
jump in on this one. This is
No,
his forte.
But Napo's too sensible for that.
Napo's way too sensible for it.
Yeah. So, Jimmy, was it broken toe or broken other bone?
He said broken toe, but he had the boot on, and I'm
Main
like,
boot,
it's a lot of work for a. I thought it was a good oversell. Or Cocko knew what the forecast was this weekend before anyone else. So we're off to follow who's our mighty starters.
Or maybe we're going to go difficult.
It's just glassy everywhere you look now. It's got worse, if that's possible. There's no breeze in Double Bay, Rushcutters Bay.
Well, Pete,
Around the
the
Bradley's
only
Head area.
glimmer of hope is it's back to nor'east on the top of the bridge again.
Looking right up the harbour towards Watson's Bay, are those boats running back into nor'easter, are they? They've got
Northerly.
Yeah, northerly, okay.
Northwest.
Yeah, okay, well, they've got a bit of breeze up there, so that's where the committee boat's heading in that general direction.
if anything.
So it'll be a follow me for the committee boat and all the skiffs. So that's what we're doing. There's Yandu, right in screen. Oh, the committee boat's just to the north now of Shark Island. There's John Winning, the class veteran.
Helped you with your write-up during the week in the paper, Shippo? Powerboating lift out.
I believe so. I
Is that going to be a weekly edition or?
never read your own press. I don't know what they said, but I haven't been sued yet. So anyway,
No,
we're speaking about powerboats and their misadventures on the harbour, but we'll leave that for another day, I think.
Stop there, Pete, before you get
Yes,
deeper into the mire, mate.
before I need to get my solicitor involved.
That's right. Mr. Harris, are you there?
That's looking back towards the city, the Centre Point Tower, the famous Sydney skyline, and Clark Island to the left of screen. And,
So, Pete, they moved the committee boat a good 100 metres and
Yeah.
come to a stop.
that was a hurry up and wait, that one.
Yeah.
They've fixed it.
Well, but the breeze got some semblance of stability.
Yeah, there's boats that running back down Watson's Bay. The spinnakers are
West.
still full. I wouldn't say they're powering downwind, but they've got enough breeze to keep the spinnakers full.
Probably 5 knots by the look of that.
Yeah. A bit of breeze coming out of sort of Chowder Bay area. Committee boats dropping anchor.
Well, so they've made a decision, and
And
I mean, true to his word, they will try and bang it off and get a race in. Okay, so. And not too concerned if it's not a true beat.
just to get a race in, I think that's what they want to do.
That's right.
But the few of the skiffs starting to rumble a bit.
And so the viewers are accustomed to, committees mucking around forever trying to lay a perfect square start line. Back in the day, shall we say, the committee would select the course, about half an hour before start time and just go and put the committee boat in and start the race, regardless of what the wind was actually doing.
That's all. What end was favoured, away you went.
That's right.
We just had a look through in the binoculars, and the marks are right off the danger mark off.
So they've got a mark in.
Yeah, past Clifton Gardens there.
Okay, so preemptive strike by the race committee to lay marks at all corners of the compass, by the sound of it, which is not completely insane at all, is it? I always think in those keelboat regattas where you seem to spend half an eternity sitting around, if we had 3 sets of windward marks,
Yeah,
about,
you could bang them off and away you
yeah,
go.
and just mask the ones that aren't to be used, and that everybody can follow the compass bearing. But anyway.
Timmy Morishima Westwood with Alex Chittenden, and who have they got this season? Chits, they got, isn't it? Who's Will Dargaville. Is he on all season? Yeah, that's good.
Well, if you've just joined us, our streaming, you haven't missed anything because there's been no action, no racing. We're just waiting for the wind to settle down and we can get a race underway. Scheduled 2 races, but at the moment we'll be lucky to get 1 in. But the committee boat have moved position once to reset the start line and try and get a race away. Skiff's just starting to move in this sort of light northerly, nor'westerly that's just drifting down out of Chowder Bay. It's far from a stable breeze, that's for sure.
There's Kitchenmaker, Lockie Steele, Jerome Watson, Matty Doyle.
Looks like a bit like a winter's day, Pete, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Except it's a lot too warm.
It's my saviour for the freeways, mate. Tommy Anderson bought the mighty camera boat, well, took it up the coast and brought it back again for us.
Yeah.
So
A little bit more rain now on our windscreen.
Should swap to the old camera cat for today, Bucko.
You can have that one, Jimmy. I'll mind this one if you don't mind. Nice picture there of the Shaw and Partners and the Smeg into the screen as well. Just actually pretending to sail upwind. Forward hand standing on the forward. Rig set up deeper than Texas.
Oh, this breeze is not looking good at all. It's died away again, hasn't it? Spinnakers are collapsing up
Yeah, breeze,
down the harbour at Nielsen Park area. There's just nothing there now.
breeze back below 4. But Pete, the mixing height is coming down by the look of that. Good pressure on the top of the harbour bridge, but it's just about 200 and something feet above the water surface. So we need it to come down.
In a hurry, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's not often at this time of the year, as you're saying earlier, Andrew, that we don't get a race in, isn't it? It's,
No,
you know,
that's-
it's winter, you'd say yes. It's very, not common, but often happens during the winter series of racing on the harbour. The breeze completely collapses. But with all this rain around, it's not looking promising at all. And that's looking up towards the bridge, Bradley's Head, and the committee boat. It's next to nothing. A lot of lightning away to the northwest. The sky's trying to clear over in the southwest, but no sign of any wind. Officials are picking up the leeward gate. They've picked up one mark and just about to get the other and bring it up towards the starting area, but they've got a starting line laid. And you can just see the mark coming out now, just to the left and above the committee boat. That's the leeward end of the start line. And we're just coming in on that now. You can see that checkered mark. That's the starting line that's there. Shaw and Partners just having a look at the line. Not much to look at, I must say. So it's a glass out again. Might have been an exercise in boat rigging today, Andrew.
Well, it's good for them to come for a sail.
Come down, guys. We've got a minute to the 5 minutes.
Get wet.
Okay, well, we're underway. The AP's down.
So he's going to try and start in this fairly dusty northwesterly.
And the weather mark, Jimmy, you saw that, did you? It's up near...
Well, they've got the three laid up, as I said, just off the point there at Clifton Gardens, but I don't think those guys will get there. Well, they'll get there with the water running out, but I doubt they'll get back.
You don't want to get too far away from the starting line, but...
He hasn't got the course access displayed, has he? Not,
No, that helps, doesn't it?
not yet.
There you go, 5 minutes.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, as you said, no course access. You think it's hanging over the side? I don't think that
No, I think...
Stake wouldn't allow them to hang it over the side after
they've
doing all the
forgotten
work.
to put the course access in, but
No, it's on the side of the boat. Surely,
it?
surely, yes.
they normally hang it off the stern. But anyway,
No, have a look on the port side, Pete.
well, do you want me to swim there? What would you like me
no,
to do?
you just walk on the water. You'll be right.
I normally do that. So
That's right, exactly.
save that for another day. So news is we're underway for the starting signals, and there won't be much action. It'll be pretty soft, quietly, softly. Catch the monkey.
And,
Where's your board hanging off the side, Bucko?
Well, there's a bit of false information there from you, Bucko.
we appear to be looking at the back of a board. It doesn't have anything written on it, so that's one of those things.
Okay, just under 4 minutes to go for the first race today, first of two, which is race 4 of the spring Championship. Supposed two-lapper going to 3 different buoys for the fleet upwind. 3.5 minutes to go, and a few boats are not going to get to the starting line. They're too far away because no one is really moving.
I'm assuming they're our top marks up there.
No, I think they're using the ones up to the left. I don't know. I've got no idea. But
I
Jimmy,
can't see any in Taylor's. I can't see any on
Yeah.
the other side of Bradley's. So
well, I've laid the starting line as if the course is to the northwest, haven't I?
yeah,
So that's
generally.
generally speaking, you know. But
It's not very often we can, on the camera boat, can pop in there, have a look, and pop
That's
out
right.
without running into anyone.
So 2 minutes 40 to go, and the fleet it's quite a, if you weren't sailing, it'd be quite a nice photo of that, of just the reflections in the water. The flying 18-footers are anything but at the moment, but nonetheless we're going to get a race underway.
and there's enough wind for them to sail just.
Oh, jeez, geez,
You're cruel,
you're
bucko.
a brave man to say that, bucko.
Oh, Pete, you know I didn't mind a bit of light air.
That's right.
You know,
Oh,
unlike
you bill for the heavy, aren't you?
that's right.
So, just under, well, there's a couple of boats behind us here. 2 minutes to go, and the race is on to get to the starting line in time. Really, who's on starboard and who's on port? It's hard to work out at times.
Anyway, the fleet's racking up, so everybody's having
Yeah.
a crack.
1:40 to go. I've got a.
And we think we've found some windward marks that are bearing about 340 from the start line, but don't rely on that information.
Right. See the time to go on the screen, bottom left, minute 29 to go. And a couple of boats are just trying to get down to the start line. There's the breeze. Oh, just looking upwind, it's very sick. Very sick indeed.
Yeah, there's still wind on the top of the harbour bridge, but nothing much at water level. So, difficult times.
Wow, look at that shot. You don't often see that.
Anyway,
There's a minute to go.
and probably Tech 2 looks, and Finport are best place. Shaw and Partners not too bad.
2 boats up this pin end.
Rag and Famish
Rag
and
and
the
Famish and
Royal Oak.
they could be okay. It's just
But-
who gets the puff, isn't it? Who
But
gets
yeah,
the puff?
I mean, only looking at that, Tech 2's got steerage way, not the case for Finport.
You wouldn't want to be over. It's a long way back, but there's
Yeah.
a bit of breeze materialising, but it's far from strong. A bit more rain now. Very dismal conditions. We've got about just under 20 seconds to go. Oh, Spinnaker's been broken out down there on the start line.
That's a bit of optimism.
That is
On the rag.
optimistic. Rag and Famish. Wow, that's a big call. Anyway, we're all but there for a start. There we go. We're away. We are away. In race 4 of the Spring Championship, the first race today. And there's the Rag. You can see he's got his Spinnaker set.
So a little drifting contest.
Yeah, I think the start was clean.
Yep. And
And
a little group of boats there. No excuse for the Vintex sail signs. Royal Oak, Four Pines, Rag and Famish with steerage way and just rolling. And pretty much all the rest of the fleet without steerage way. So
yeah.
there's the first hurdle, Pete. How do we go?
Well, Vintec, of course, on the sail is actually Noakes Youth.
Yeah. And the
Just starting to move, a few little puffs. Not much. Okay,
so but the breeze turned to the northeast, Pete. So
yeah, the Rag's still carrying that chute,
then well,
sort of.
yeah, sort of.
Yeah. The There's a lot of boats still haven't crossed the start line. Fisher Paykel, Kitchen Maker,
Yep.
Lazarus, Smeg,
So
Birkenhead Point,
So the ebb tide doing some harm there.
Pints is online, Balmain. They have still to get there. And this little group, this leading group, will be the Royal Oak, Tech 2, Noakes Youth, which we keep reminding has got Vintech on the sail.
And Royal Oak Four Pines
And
rolling.
the Royal Oak, and then Rag still with the shoot. This will be interesting to see how this all pans out.
Fresh rain score coming. And breeze in the
Breeze.
right.
Hard in the right here.
Yep. Yep.
There's the fleet still, as you can see, the bulk of them still trying to get across the starting line.
The ebb tide holding them back on the wrong side of the line.
Yeah, and the
With
boats that got away up the leeward end have started to bolt away. Bolt being a loose term because they're just moving probably a little better than the majority of the fleet. You can see Rag down to leeward, still with the spinnaker. Harry Price, Josh McKnight and Harry Hall. They look quite comfortable with that spinnaker. And then Tech 2, Royal Oak and Noakes Youth, the Vintech on the sail. They've bolted away from the rest. The Rag's starting to get a rumble on. And if we can just establish where the weather mark is, it's up.
Yeah,
It's off. Yeah.
it's where that power cruiser
Yeah,
is.
I
off
think
the bow.
Rag's going to have to drop this spinnaker. Wouldn't be a long way from laying it.
Yeah.
I think he's struggling down to leeward there now, Andrew, I think, with that spinnaker.
Yeah, quite a short beat. Looks only about 1 mile, perhaps even a little less.
Yeah, I think
you-
there's more right-hander coming, isn't it?
breeze coming off the ocean, Pete. So
Yeah.
that's the Norris possibly re-exerting itself, yeah?
Yeah, Shaw and Partners starting to get a wriggle on, Ilvey. Shaw and Partners, Tom Anderson on the helm today.
And Tommy was looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, he's did a good job. He's in the top half a dozen here. He's got as good a speed as anyone.
So just
More breeze coming out of Rose Bay.
if we
Steel
have a
Point area, isn't it?
comparison here, Chits, of the setups of the three boats here. I was talking to the Shaw and Partners boys, and their rig was a little too deep last week and very much upright. And if you look at Tech 2, it's got the normal-ish sort of 7 degrees of rake. Shaw and Partners, probably something like half that amount of rake. Mast very upright, set up very deep. And I guess fair to say that Tom thought they might be pretty quick if it blew 5 knots. So here's the proof.
Yeah, well, Shaw and Partners is the mover at this stage. He's as quicker than anyone. The Rag down to leeward off screen at the moment. He's still persevering with the spinnaker. But Tech 2 leads narrowly. This group have broken away from the majority of the fleet. It's
The
just-
18 footers just there on screen with Ilvey. Like
yeah.
Pedro got out of the gate and moving along nicely.
Yeah, rolled over the top of Ilvey.
And he's probably closest to that breeze that's coming out of Rose Bay,
Yeah, it's quite
Pete. So he's
solid from what we've seen. It's probably 5-6 knots here.
Yeah.
The windward boats are going to get it. Yandu follows, leads the pack up behind Ilvey. He's not on screen yet, but the leaders is just starting to rumble now.
Yeah.
From round, there's Yandu.
So the boat speed now, they're just at sort of half riding moment use. Boat speeding up towards 5 knots, just below planing speed. But rumbling with attached flow, Pete.
Yep. Yeah, there's more to come.
So Tech 2, just looking through the fleet there, Tech 2.
Well, now it gets interesting because they're all going to different marks up here.
Tech 2 with 2 crew fully extended on the wire now, so up to planing speed.
So Tech 2, he'll go to the furthest mark.
Yeah.
He goes to, there's 3 marks up here that they go around, so Tech 2 will be significantly disadvantaged because he's the scratch boat along with Smeg, which means they go to the furthest mark, so that's their handicap. The Royal Oak Four Pines, he'll go to blue and blue, which will be the middle mark.
They don't look too spread out, the marks, Peter. Just haven't looked through
No.
binoculars.
Remember in the first race 2 weeks ago, they were very spread out and really affected the placings when they turned to come back downwind. And the Vintech Noakes Youth, they will be, they go to a red mark first. So they will be significantly advantaged here. Shaw and Partners, they will go to the middle mark first. So
And just off screen, the Rag and Famish has finally dropped their spinnaker.
yeah, he's way down to
But
leeward.
yeah, he's in right on that borderline whether he may have to do a little tack to get back to the mark. He may be okay, I think, from where he is.
Breeze just coming off Steel Point, Nielsen Park now. It's probably nor'easter here. isn't it?
East nor'east.
East nor'east, yep.
So that was the original flow, sort of, but it's turned right a little bit more by the local little cell out to sea there, I think.
So Tech 2 leads on the water. Jack McCartney, Luke Parkinson and Lewis Brake. But they will go to the furthest of the 3 marks. Noakes Youth, we keep saying, reminding you it's Vintech on the sail. They will be second. There's Shaw and Partners. They are 4th at the moment on the water. The big loser, I think, has been Rag and Famish. He hung on to that spinnaker and he drifted way down to leeward of the fleet. And he's got a long way to climb back into this. And as you said, Jimmy, he's going to have to tack up to these marks in this breeze, I think.
So these guys are gone, haven't they, Pete?
Yeah,
I mean, looking
yeah.
out to the right, there's more pressure coming through the gap of Watson's Bay.
Tech 2 moving beautifully in these conditions.
The marks
fine
are
job.
pretty close together.
They are. So it'll negate somewhat the advantage or disadvantage of going to which mark.
I think Dougie just got there with all 3 of them, just boiked them over the side.
Possibly.
So there's the race leaders. So Tech 2 will go to the furthest of the 3.
I think the big advantage is the blue mark out of all of them.
Gee, they're very
Just
close,
the way
aren't
they
they?
are.
Where-
Maybe before we went on air and I said they tie all 3 to one anchor, it wasn't far off.
No. So
The Bermuda Triangle.
the white looks closer than...
It'll be a tight reach back with a shoot, so
I think Jack on Tech 2, when he got it, he's seen the 3 boys how close they all are. He's rubbing his hands together.
Yeah, there's hardly a advantage or disadvantage of these marks. They're almost in line, but the white mark is just a whisker further upwind. I think he will still lead on the water, the Tech 2. So he'll be first to turn. And Noakes Youth will be second. And then the Royal Oak after that. Then Shaw and Partners. And poor old Rag and Famish, he really got punished down there with that spinnaker. Okay, here we go. It's good old-fashioned port rounding.
Tech 2,
He leads and he will...
he's going to 2 sail. He's going to set the shoot. How about that? Or he's going to set, yeah, jibe set, okay. Good enough for
So the
me.
Noakes Youth, they will go to the red mark, which is...
Tech 2, pretty strong performance, Pete.
yeah.
Few of the other boats there just in the background have got to tack back,
Yeah.
just coming to shot.
So there's the Royal Oak. Those boys got mixed up. Shaw and Partners going round now. So there's 3 of them locked together in second spot. The breeze almost in the nor'east here.
Yep.
It's getting quite strong
Yeah,
coming
no,
out of
yeah.
Rose Bay,
Pressure.
Watson's Bay.
Pressure building
But
here.
all at the moment, it's all Tech 2. He's got the jump on the fleet. These 3 boys were very close together. And there's someone right down the track has capsized. Wow, that'd take some doing.
Next round, the 18-footers, the bar and restaurant.
Well, good pressure coming, Pete, from Watson's Bay. Look at that.
Yeah.
Front of a new little rain squall, but the direction re-exerted to the nor'east.
Shaw and Partners has wriggled his way into second place. The Royal Oak and Noakes Youth fighting it out for third at the moment, but Tech 2's gone. And we'll probably get
Yandu and he'll be going around there.
Yeah, let's go around. Blue. These boys got it mixed up. The blue's meant to be the middle and red's meant to be the closest, but anyway,
Near enough.
near enough. It's 18 footers.
Peter, we
But
should
anyway, we're lucky to get a race in, really.
we should
In the background, Burrawong just capsized there.
Oh, right.
Burrawong
The race-
Hotel, as race sponsor.
Race sponsor.
Pete, we should mention for the viewers that there is evidently going to be some reinstatement of long course pursuit racing where the limit boat starts and everybody goes around the same marks. Not
Yeah.
sure when, but sometime between now and Christmas we'll see a couple of those.
Right, okay. Well, the breeze is in, as solid as we've seen it. And the fleet will get I'm sure we'll get 2 races in now because the 3:30 Sydney time. And the breeze is in from the northeast. There's Fisher Pike Kell. They're about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The yellow Spinnaker is the 18 footers restaurant. There's Yandu on the right. So they're running down towards Shark Island, the whole fleet on Port Jibe. They'll jibe and come into the gate, at the leeward gate down near the starting area.
And the breeze now perhaps 12 knots. How about that, Chivers?
Yeah, well,
Change the jet, brother.
it's a good sailing breeze now. The leaders are just jibing. Oh, a bit of trouble on the Noakes Youth with the Vintech. A bit wobbly. They've got through it all right. Shaw and Partners have jibed. They'll be second. Tech 2, a very neat jibe, as you'd expect. They lead clearly. Tech 2. Yandu of jibe with the white Spinnaker, and there's Fisher Pike Kell just going across in front. And then the Rag and Famish just to the right of screen. They got out of jail a bit. They look dead and buried there, but they're probably about 8th or 9th. Coming across their bow is Finport. The bow
Young
of
Brian
Rag and
steering.
Famish, yeah. Done a good job, but the leaders are approaching the leeward gate for the first time. It's a 2-lapper.
Yeah, looking downwind, pretty good low line from the Tech 2 boys.
Yeah, they do it pretty well. They did it very well last week to grab victory in the final stages, and here they are again leading. So they're just looking to drop their Spinnaker and go around the left hand of the gate. Left hand looking downwind. They're on the wind. Just getting the Spinnaker put to bed. Oh,
Short partners, short
short
partners.
To the right of screen.
oh, they're in all sorts of trouble.
Not what you want.
No, they've got to save it. This halyard came off.
Prematurely one
Yeah.
night. So,
Yeah, it all got a bit chicken winged up for them, but they've saved it nonetheless. They're still in second spot. If they can tidy it up, they'll retain second spot. But meanwhile, they've got a bit of work to do, boys, on the Shaw and Partners.
Spinnaker full of water, Pete.
Yeah, that's not easy.
They're nice and easy to pull in.
Yeah.
And under the boat.
Oh,
And around the wing. And a few other things.
yeah. So, here come the cavalry. They're coming down now.
Oh, no, full prawn.
Oh,
So
Shaw.
we've been given a bum steer. It's Ryan Ewings is steering,
Right, okay,
not
there's,
Brian. So the office has got it wrong. Sorry,
Right.
Ryan.
Yeah.
okay, there's
When you're
Vintech,
watching back, now you got a
which
new
is Noakes
nickname.
Youth going round.
So,
And Shaw and Partners still prawning, as they say. Got the Spinnaker over the side. That takes a lot of work to get it back. There's the Royal Oak 4 Pines going upwind as the sky darkens over Manly. You can see that in the background. It's
yeah, it's a decent rain score
a
coming.
decent round score. That's a 12-footer going across with a white Spinnaker.
Yeah.
Fisher Pike Kell with the right screen, the Rag coming down. Oh, Shaw and Partners is trying to get round the leeward mark, which he will. Yandu rounds inside the 18-footer bar and restaurant. Bit of yelling going on. Shaw and Partners is finally going upwind with the Spinnaker still a bit over the side. But that's Yandu, and we're watching now his Rag and Famish. Fisher Paykel, they're going to the same mark, which is the right-hand one looking downwind. But breeze is good, solid breeze now, Andrew. 10, 12 knots perhaps.
10, 12 north.
Yeah, so they're going to get a good beat.
Yep.
So the committee did a great job. They got it right. It didn't look good for a while, but wow, it's in the nor'easter.
There's a good bit of speculation. Good on them.
If you build it, it will come.
Some boys on the yacht, yeah, for you, Bucko.
Bucko's party cruises, all occasions.
All occasions. Anyway, shippers, 1 minute lead. Slightly have 1 minute lead to Tech 2 at the bottom there from 4 Pints Rag and Famish.
So they've got this just one more beat to go and then a run to the finish. Just 2 laps. And they will round different marks again at the top. The marks are so close that it almost negated the differential in the marks.
And the breeze just turning left a bit more, so just back to probably due north more or less. Not sure Tech 2's gone the right way at the beat, but nobody's close enough to threaten him.
No, he's well clear, and there's a interesting sight on the party boat. We won't comment on that.
Leave that one alone.
Yeah, there we go. We're in the Navy or something like that, I think they say. Okay, there's Fisher Paykel coming upwind. Yes, gone left this breeze, big time. But he's got enough up the sleeve, Tech 2, he went hard right. Silvey, there's Shaw and Partners. Done his fishing for the day, got his prawns aboard, and he's dropped back a fair bit there. He's probably 5th or 6th. There's the race sponsor after a capsize in the first beat. He's tailing the fleet. Oh no, there's a couple more still to come downwind. There looks like the Birkenhead. It's still around, and there's another skiff up there. Oh, just capsizing the weather mark. I think that's Event Heritage in the Noakes Blue.
No, I've
Is it?
seen her before. It's Appliances Online.
Oh, Appliances Online, I'm sorry. Well done. Yeah. Okay, so
Pedro, 18s.
Stick with the 18. Yes.
Shaw and Partners.
18-footers bar and restaurant.
Yeah. Yandu's wriggled his way up again into the near place getters. He'd be 4th at the moment. That's Noakes Youth. Big left-hander in this breeze. On the Noakes Youth, you see the race leader Tech 2 in the background, the red and white insignia. And they're about 150 metres from the weather mark. There's Royal Oak 4 Pines, they'll be 3rd on the water. Or will they? Then coming across is Yandu. Yandu may cross them, he will cross them. So Yandu's got himself up into 3rd spot. Royal Oak 4 Pine didn't like what they saw when they came back, so they've had to bail out and tack underneath Ilvay and Yandu, hoping for a little right-hander to get them back in touch.
So Pete, just looking upwind, just breeze building some more, a little more rain squall. Tech 2 now inverted up in front of us, so breeze up to about 14 knots. How about that?
Yeah. So he's tacked to lay the weather mark for the last time. He rounds the weather mark, and then the race then is just down to the finish, 2-lapper. The boat that was there's one boat still capsized at the weather mark.
the other one's Balmain Slate. There's two
Balmain
of them
Slate.
in the there's two of them in the tide.
That's
There's
the points
Lights
leader.
Online and Balmain Slate.
And the breeze has gone so far left that
Oh,
Tech 2 will not lay the weather mark.
oh, sorry, I got it wrong. Is that? Oh, that's Lazarus. Lazarus Development. Sorry, I thought just seeing the bit of orange there. That's
Yeah.
what made me think it was Balmain Slate. Sorry, boys.
Okay, Tech 2 was underlaying, so he's gone back early. He was short.
Breeze a long way left on this
Is
side of
it?
the
Yeah.
side of the bay.
It's quite fresh now. A lot of white caps appearing up, looking up towards Sow Pigs, and way in the distance to Manly. The sky still a fairly dark. Tech 2 will shorten up any second. He'll tack. He's going to the furthest mark.
He's
There
there.
he goes.
Pretty easy on that.
Yeah, he's really smoked up wind, Tech 2. He's opened up a very, very big lead from Noakes Youth and Yandu third, but he's sprung sheets now, and we'll go to that white boy.
Oh,
Court rounding. There's his turning mark. There's away, and the breeze so far left, it'll just set a long run on starboard. It might even get down on starboard, Andrew, with the breeze so far left.
very close.
Yeah.
Not the best choice, but
He's got enough up his sleeve. He's lead by a good
doesn't need
40
to do
seconds
too
or
much,
more.
does he? Good stuff.
Breeze a bit patchy here. Just the run down to Shark Island to the finish of race, first race today. And Rag and Famish and Noakes Youth battling it out for second. But we're on Tech 2. And it's going to be a great race for second. They round the mark together. Looking around for wind on Tech 2. Not much of it.
Regan.
They're going to jibe, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the perception there's more wind on the eastern shore, Pete.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. And they just protect their lead a bit here as well.
So, okay, there's the two boats that went round, locked together in second. Noakes Youth running away on starboard, and then the Rag and jibed. So Yandu will be fourth. 18 footers bar and restaurant next. Ilvay and the Royal Oak.
Yeah.
The big improver there was Rag and Famish.
Yeah.
He
He went
dead and buried early on, and
the right way up the beat, more or less.
obviously he did. He's
Larry's spinning his head around.
yeah.
So, Tech,
Oh,
Tech 2
Yandu.
now in the easterly slant. Sorry, guys, not on screen, but
there's a good gaggle of boats going round, battling it out for fourth. The Royal Oak in a bit of trouble with his wide spinnaker. Yandu set. Ilvay going high without a spinnaker, and then behind the Royal Oak is the 80-footer bar and restaurant with a yellow spinnaker, but Yandu did the best out of that lot. And Rag and Famish, wow, he's done very, very well. He's closed in on the leader.
and considering he didn't get any benefit of the mark placement, he'd sort of
That's the lead. You'll see Tech 2 in a moment.
in the top three on fastest time here, effectively.
The breeze still patchy. It's gone right back into the north, hasn't it? And the interesting here will be Noakes Youth. He didn't jibe. He's gone down in one on starboard jibe, and he's got good pressure. If you can get Tech 2 have lost pressure, you can see them hunting up for pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Tech 2's done a good job of covering the options, haven't they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's Shark Island that's near where the finishing line is. They're not quite laying the finish.
Yeah. But, I mean,
No
Tech
shoes.
Two's now in a header, Pete.
Yes, yeah, that's what he's looking for.
So Noakes Youth going to sail the lifted job to the finish.
Oaks Youth can get a few little heading gusts with pressure. He could wipe down across the face of Tech 2 here.
Yeah, good luck with that one, Chippers.
Yeah, well,
Depends how the line's laid with the
yeah.
how everything else has been.
He's about 10
the-
degrees lower than Tech 2 at the moment.
The breeze has lifted off again. Tech 2 just now in VMG mode. And the breeze back down to perhaps 8 knots or
Yeah,
a
it's
little
died
less.
again, hasn't it?
A little less.
Meanwhile, the Rag and Famish keeps rumbling up on Tech 2. Still a bit to play for here. It's very light where they're going. You can see Noakes Youth, that white spinnaker. There's the Rag in third spot, or second or third at the moment, depending on what happens to Noakes Youth. Noakes Youth's got pressure up there, but he's being lifted. So he's going to have to... Where's the finishing line?
Just here, Pete.
Ooh, okay.
I think this might be a little bit
Don't-
closer than what we think.
Don't put your money on it yet. Bucko, don't put your money on it yet.
Noakes Youth's going to have a fight with the Manly Ferry as well, so just about to come into shot.
Yeah, as they get further advanced, he's got a nice little puff there, Noakes Youth. Andrew, what are you thinking? I think that ferry's going to really affect him.
Yeah, the ferry won't do him any good.
No, and it's very light between him and the finishing line.
Look at this, Tech 2 with a big header.
Yeah, look at this, Andrew.
It's very patchy.
Oh, Tech 2's just hit the brick wall.
Westerly.
He's headbutted it. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just stopped. And
Yacht
meanwhile,
racing can be a difficult sport, I don't know if you noticed sometimes.
meanwhile, Noakes Youth could win this easy. Not easy, but he'll win it. They
It's
go
a-
back out.
It's a 3-horse race, Pete.
No, it's a one-horse race, I reckon.
Well, you just don't know. You
No,
don't,
he's got a jibe to come back in.
yeah. The transition
It's
could
not
be,
a, there he
There's
goes
the jibe,
now. There's the jibe now.
could be
Okay.
anything, mate.
No, he's done a very good job.
And no, done a great job.
Great job.
Well, let's just see how much wind Tech 2 gets now. That's
Can he
the
get across the face here?
question.
Yeah, he's going to do this.
And you're right, he's going to win.
Yeah. That's a great performance from Noakes Youth. They're going to get there. How about that? He hung in there on starboard jibe for a long while. He's approaching the finish now in jibing. He's got about 80 metres to come in. Oh, clear lead. Clear lead. Not much pressure though.
Well, but Pete, the wind is re-exerting itself, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever afflicted Tech 2 for a minute there's gone. And so now it's fairly consistent, sort of 8 knots of wind. And so
Wow.
they'll finish in that order, one would think. Noakes Youth, Tech 2, Rag and Famish.
Yeah. Tom Kunich, Flynn Sprott and Kirk Mitchell. Well done, boys. Very good effort.
Yeah, and you know, 3 pretty good crews at the front of this fleet here.
Yeah, good job. They're crossing now, and they'll win by a good 20 seconds or more from Tech 2. And Rag and Famish will get third, I would say.
Still a contest here, Pete. The Royal Oak trying to soak,
Yeah, Yandu trying to soak.
and Ilvey right out to the lay line.
Wow,
Sorry,
he's got-
viewers. We're on Tech 2 at the moment, and Ilvey in the far back
Top
corner.
of screen.
Yeah.
Top of screen. But
Jibe to come in, but no pressure. Tech 2 across second. Third will be Rag and Famish.
the Royal Oak will get close, Pete.
To third, will he? Yeah, he will actually. He's just getting up on the finishing line here, you'll see.
The Battle of the Hotels.
Yeah. No, the
The Royal Oak or the
Royal
Rag.
Oak will get third, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, Royal Oak third.
And I think the Rag will get fourth and Yandu fifth.
Yep. Oh, Rag just will get fourth. Yandu fifth. And Ilve sixth. Oh, bit ugly on the Ilve as the 18-footers bar and restaurant come thundering in and with a yellow spinnaker.
They might get him.
Thundering being a rather colourful adjective in these conditions, but he's going to roll over the top of Ilve, will he? No, I think. What's Ilve
that
up
never
to?
helps.
Jeez.
Evade the
The
mark.
gate. No, the yellow spinnaker's going to do this for the 18-footer bar and restaurant. He will be seventh. No, he'll be sixth. Ilve will be seventh. And Finport just jibing there with the white spinnaker. He will be next, I think, in 8th spot. Poor old Shaw and Partners got lost up there.
Yeah, they were in pretty good shape, but
Yeah,
they, as we observed, Pete, they did a long prawn, and that
that hurts.
that hurts.
Something not quite right at the top of the
No.
spinnaker on Shaw and Partners. It's something new.
Yeah,
We pulled it into the pulley up the top, right?
a bit of shock cord or something.
Finport just limping across the line.
Sure, and Partners with a reef in.
Finport's next. They're across in 8th. And without the spinnaker, down there's Lazarus.
Development. I think they're going. They've still got a lap to
Oh,
go.
they've got a lap to go. Yes, that's right. So Shaw and Partners will be 9th.
Sure, and Partners got to the finish line with the spinning halyard inside the trapeze, lured trapeze wire strop.
How does that work?
Well, it doesn't.
That doesn't.
That's a distraction in rigging up. Is how that works.
No, but I think it might have been to do with the retrieval, Jimmy, when they put the spinnaker in the water. And then
Oh yeah, it's all.
they scrambled it back into the boat as best they could.
You can see how light it is again down here at this starting finishing area. Fisher Pokel's going to come in here with heat, try and roll over the top of Shaw and Partners, which I think they will. Oh,
Probably just jumped on the wing just a little too soon on Shaw and Partners, just to try and give it a little push along.
A little shunt, but no. Fisher
Fish and
Pokel
Pokel
will
for
beat
my
them.
money.
yeah.
Oh, well. Tricky old day, Pete.
Well, that
And,
was topsy-turvy, that's for sure.
and the wind on the Harbour Bridge looks like it's sort of almost north-northeast again. North to north-northeast.
Well, it
But
turned out a good course in the end for that race.
That's
It's,
right. That is right.
Although the breeze was up and down, there was plenty of snakes and ladders, but Noakes Youth were the recipients of the finishing gun. They
And-
were first.
Bravery award for sailing,
Yeah.
taking some risk on the last run.
Tech 2 second. Royal Oak was third. Rag and Famish fourth. Yandu fifth. 18-footer bar and restaurant. Ilve, Finport. Fisher Pokel 9th. Shaw and Partners 10th. Shaw. Smeg just coming across an 11th. And it's got light again. Boy. Will we get another race in? That's the question. You can just see the skiffs hardly moving. There's the
I think
Next
if they took a poll, Pete, I think it'd be pretty unanimous.
go home.
Yes.
Have a frothy or three.
The old LGH.
Yeah. Well, there's just see how light it is again here. There's Noakes Blue, left of
Burrawong.
screen, Burrawong Hotel, and way in the distance with the orange, spinning a Balmain Slake, And then Birkenhead Marina with the black spinnaker and the gold writing. And there's
Noakes
Noakes
Blue.
Blue. Just rolling over the top of the Kitchen Maker, which is to lure to her. Oh, they've got a... There's
Well,
just
so-
nothing. It's just collapsed again in this breeze, Andrew. Just
They got the
collapsed.
same thing as well going on there.
Spinnaker, yeah.
Spinnaker.
Yeah, Noakes has got some malfunction.
So there's something new going on in the rigging up department that we're not aware of.
Snakes in the grass in the park, probably, Jimmy.
That breeze looked as though it stabilised before, didn't it? And now it's just
Got too much water in it.
dissipated once more. There's a Bet Heritage and the Noakes Blue just trying to drift down to the finishing line. Still got about 50 metres or so to go. Oh dear.
Just go on the barrel.
Oh, there's her spinnaker collapsed. Great overhead shot there. Oh, dear.
And the poor Kitchen Maker, it's had Noakes Blue go over it. Just looks like it's just about to have the Burrawong Hotel go over it. Can't buy a trick on the Kitchen Maker at the moment.
These are race sponsor too.
Yeah, there's Burrawong Young Henry's, the race sponsor for today. Just trying to roll over the Kitchen Maker, which they're successfully doing at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like the breeze back to the west on the
Oh.
on the western side, southwest again. So Pete, we might see just an evaporation again and a hiatus.
Yeah, well, there's nothing looking upwind towards Watson's Bay, Nielsen Park now. It's completely gone. Just see what's happened here. Nothing's really happening. It's just a drifting match again.
Well,
A vet on Noakes Blue has had to drop his spinnaker
Yes.
trying to make the mark here now.
Go upwind.
tide's going out, but
Looking back into Double Bay, it's southwest, isn't it, or southerly?
southwest, just
Yeah.
exactly opposite to the nor'easter, Pete.
Yes.
How about that?
Is it? I haven't worked that out, but I'll work at that. That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, have a think.
Yeah, I will.
There's Burrawong
Oh, they've all
Young Henry's dropping their spinnaker.
boats going in all directions. We've got 12-foot skiffs mixed up with the 18s at the moment. They're
We might be looking at full rotation here, looking at that though, Pete. It's just gone through the south here, or into the south at least.
Same breeze just coming back and forth.
Noakes is getting rolling on port tack
Yeah.
to get to the finish line. So
going to be hard on the wind to the finish.
yeah.
Young Henry's has dropped the spinnaker. Kitchen Maker has as well. Just trying to get the battens across, set on the right way with the mainsail. Not much to play for these guys. Here's the Birkenhead still running down with the nor'easter, or the northerly. She's going to hit the brick wall in a minute, you'd think. Sky clearing away to the south again now. It's a funny day.
Strange times. So Jimmy, what are your odds? Do you think they'll just blow it up?
Well, depends how much beer they got left.
Yeah, well, we're due for a second race, but at the moment we're in limbo whether they will hold the second race today. The fleet is still milling around the finishing line. There's Noakes Blue just crossing the line now.
You know, the fleet's sort of pretending to sail towards Double Bay.
Yes.
Do you think?
What does that normally indicate?
Hint, hint, hint.
Hint, committee, hint.
Now the fleet that were running down with spinnakers are now hard on the wind coming back across to the finishing line. Oh, Birkenhead have just still got their spinnakers set, but just dropping that now as the southwesterly reaches them. There's Noakes Blue across. Young Henry's Burrawang Hotel is next across. Then the Kitchen Maker. Ooh, it's a tough old day. So just repeating, Noakes Youth was the winner of the first race. Tech 2 second. Royal Oak Four Pines was third. Rag and Famish fourth. Yandu fifth. 18-footer Bar and Restaurant sixth. Ilvay seventh. Finport eighth. Fisher Paykel ninth. And Shaw and Partners 10th. So there was a lot of changes in those positions as the race went on. Tech 2 looked a good thing at the last windward mark, but Noakes Youth held their nerve and got the job done.
Kitchenmaker Caesarstone.
Yeah, they've finished. Just finished. And the breeze coming back in from the southwest here. That's the only breeze on the course. See boats in the background still trying to drift across in a bit of a northerly. So the two.
Lazarus Development's one of those boats that I think they went around the bottom mark
Yes.
and went, all right, we'll just come back and hang
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, that would take another week to get finished, unfortunately, with this breeze the way it is. So what's going to win out here, Andrew, for the second race if they hold it? Southwester, is it?
The 19th hole, mate. Yeah, I'm back to the bar. Don't know, to be honest, really, Pete. It's so volatile, isn't it?
Yeah. Rain all around and very, very strange day.
Yeah.
Still waiting for appliances online, the Birkenhead and Balmain Slate to finish. Lazarus has retired. Lazarus Capital Development Team. They had a misadventure up at the top mark. Well, the fleet is still hanging around here, so I guess they're expecting a second race.
Yeah, but not really, Pete, I think.
No, it's going to be hard to get a race away in this.
And the sponsors from Birkenhead Point Marina, they're out on the ferry today.
Well, the Birkenhead just getting a rumble on to leeward of Appliances Online. Who's going to rumble better here? At the moment, it's the Birkenhead. She's away.
Yeah, Bree's doing another 360 by the look of it, Pete.
Back in the east there.
Yeah.
It's 12 footers going upwind or in an easterly or southeasterly.
So, I mean, that's a gradient flow, and it's just a question of what the
If it
boundary,
can penetrate.
what the boundary layer looks like, and how strong are the local little rain cells.
There's the Birkenhead. They're going to just get there, I think. She's got about 50 metres to go to the finishing line.
Just went flatter back as you said that, Pete.
It's just the big head button.
Just pointed at the finish line, Timmy.
Oh dear, they
Bit
just
of an
stopped,
auto check.
absolutely stopped. Meanwhile, poor old the series leader Blake and Balmain Slate, they've got 400 or 500 metres to go to the finishing line, and that will put a dent in their hopes for an overall series lead.
Especially with no drops, right, Pete?
That's right, exactly. So they will have to count today's performance, which is not a pretty one for them. And there's the scene as we look back towards Clark Island. There's not much wind.
Don't worry about the ones that are finished. No, they haven't finished.
Appliances Online.
And
And
Birkenhead.
Birkenhead's going to get there, I think. Yeah, see how light it is. Not enough wind to push the battens through. And it's one of those ugly days now.
Birkenhead's going back up, of course.
Yes. Birkenhead just at the stern of the ferry, just trying to get to this finishing line. It's agony for both these boats, Appliances Online and Birkenhead.
Tide's still going out, Pete.
Yeah.
Stationary sailing.
That's right.
Well, the finishing line's a long way away in these conditions. In time, that's for sure.
And flow again on the top of the Harbour Bridge, nor'east. How about that?
Yeah. Quite strong too, the flags are standing out.
Yep.
It will be very hard to get a second race in, I would think. Appliances Online still to finish. see in a minute Birkenhead. She's just got a bit of a wobble on now, and she's just starting to wriggle across. That's the gate that she had to go through the first time round. That's not the finishing line.
They don't have to go through that gate for the
That's right.
finish.
It's just straight to the finish, which is close, but it's a long way away in time. They're just moving through the water. They've still got 20, 30 metres to go. Just starting to get a bit of lean on the boat.
But Pete, I mean, looking out the left here now, it's gone all dusty again, glassed
Complete
out.
glass out, yeah. I think we may have seen our one and only race for the day, unless something dramatic happens. The Balmain Slake are coming down in Eastleigh again, way in the distance. Birkenhead are just almost there.
Shepherd, we'll make you officer of the day next week, all right?
No, it's not an envious job, that's for sure. Conditions like this.
Not an enviable job, perhaps.
Enviable job, that's the word I was looking for, wasn't it? Enviable. Yeah, wrong adverb.
Perhaps.
Okay, she's across the Birkenhead all, but
No.
she's still not. She's paralleling the line at the moment.
Young Alex sitting up on the bow looks
Yeah.
riveted, doesn't he? Timmy doing his hair
I might sample your teammate.
on their platform.
Not exactly. Yeah, the
Okay.
committee. If the committee sent everybody home now, I think they would have done a good day's work. Pete.
Yes, I agree with that. So, Birkenhead Point Marina, they're across. Two to come. Planters Online and Balmain Slake. Poor old Balmain, there's just anchored up halfway up the beat, or the run rather, about 300 metres from home, going absolutely nowhere, probably going backwards on the tide.
Head on Birkenhead. They haven't crossed yet.
Birkenhead's across.
They're across. There's the committee boat just in the background. Birkenhead are next, and then Appliances Online are just coming down shortly. So see it come into view now. There's the Birkenhead with
The Burrawong in the way.
Burrawong just in
Just
the
to make
way.
life difficult for him.
They
Be on the race course, shouldn't they?
Not really.
I don't think
Oh, they're
Appliances Online.
they're the wrong side of the finishing line, so they're not going to finish. And I think looking up course, the Balmain boys are getting a tow, are they? I think from
Yeah.
a little rib. I think they would be a long time finishing. Yeah, they're under tow, so their day is over.
Now, you got
This
those,
race-
got those flags ready, Pete?
Flag-
N over X.
Let's go home flags.
Those ones.
Yeah, I think it's got to be that, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
There's just no wind anywhere on the harbour, which is disappointing. But we're lucky to get a race in, and it ended up not a bad race actually. A few changes in the lead, and just trying to make communication with race officials to see what they're going to do.
Go Bergman.
A few boats, I think, probably headed for home.
Copy doggy. Thanks heaps for the heads up.
So we've just heard from the race committee that racing is over for the day. One race, and that was it. And I think it's the only decision they could make, Andrew, in these conditions, isn't it?
I'd say they've earned their money today, and they did a pretty good job. And
Hats off to the race committee for getting one race away.
that's right.
Yeah, that's
and
job well done.
they got the best of the win somehow, and they're about to send a fleet home. Here we go.
Well, send them home's one thing. They've got to get home. It's another thing. There's no breeze.
There's plenty of ribs available, Pete.
Yeah, they need that.
Yeah.
So that's a rather disappointing day, I guess. But anyway, we got a race in, which didn't look possible early on. And that was race 4 of the Spring Championship. And it was won by Noakes Youth. Very good performance.
Excellent
Those boys.
performance.
Yeah. Tech 2 second, Royal Oak third, Rag and Fabish fourth, followed by Yandu, 80 footers, Bar and Restaurant, Ilvay, Finport, Fisher Bay Kell and Shaw and Partners rounded out the top 10 on a day with little or no wind, and right at the moment there is absolutely no wind on the harbour, so we're unable to get a second race in. So I think we'll probably wrap that all up for today. So we thank the Sale Media team that have brought all this great pictures and footage to you, and great overhead shots from the drone and camera work, and we'll be back next week and hopefully a bit more breeze to get these 18 footers up and flying. But you take the good with the bad. Today wasn't one of the great days of racing, but nonetheless you've got to survive in all sorts of conditions, and today was a long way from survival, but it was a patience game, I think. So Jimmy,
Patience and rain scores, Pete.
that's right. Jimmy, to you, thank you. What to take anything out of today besides there was no wind?
That I'm glad I'm not sailing anymore. And when you see days like that, I don't fold up very well. The size of me.
So Andrew, what's your take on the day?
Well, the cream rises to the top. Tech 2 all but one in extremely untidy conditions. And we're actually a little bit unlucky on the way to the finish line.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah. Anyway, the two winners today, I think. One was the race committee for getting a race underway, and it ended up a pretty good track. So full marks to those boys for doing that, and to the team on Noakes Youth, full marks to them. So on behalf of the Sale Media team out here on Sydney Harbour, a windless Sydney Harbour, we'll say good afternoon on behalf of James Bury, Andrew Buckland and myself, Peter Shipway, and we'll see you back same time, same place next week. Good afternoon all.